And I do know things more than most Americans, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm smart, which I am, by the way. But I'm not trying to sound like I'm smart. I'm not trying to sound, like I'm better than anyone. I'm not trying to sound like maybe potentially that I'm above it all. At all. Maybe I am. Maybe a little bit. Maybe. I don't know. But either way, so there's a poll that was dropped by YouGov, and YouGov, a notoriously very bad pollster when it comes to actually getting relative, like, I don't know, that they skew older. Let me just put it that way. So, what do Americans think socialism looks like? There's been a lot of talk in the United States of America, socialism. The right wing will love to decry anything that even remotely will help one person as socialist. Y'all gonna make some socialist. Y'all socialist. That's all you is. That's all you is. If anybody gets a band-aid when they scrape their knee after a biking accident, that's socialism. How dare you? Meanwhile, they drive on a road to work in a car that was funded, the R&D was funded by taxpayers, right? Like, that's not important right now. That's whatever, right? Whatever. But socialism is evil. Meanwhile, President Trump at Walter Reed Hospital getting the best care in the world, right? Those are all government employees, but socialism is bad somehow, right? It's government healthcare, the best healthcare in the world for Donald Trump. Donald Trump is out there saying, don't be afraid of COVID. We've got the best healthcare in this country. The best. We got tremendous healthcare. It's absolutely tremendous, right? Meanwhile, right, we have millions and millions and millions of people that don't have insurance. So are we allowed to go to the presidential suite at Walter Reed Hospital when I get coronavirus, right? Because I live in North Carolina, a red fucking bumfuck state. So I'm going to get coronavirus at some point. It's just a matter of time, right? There is no possible way, and you can quote me later, right? There is no possible way I'm running out the clock on this pandemic, right? I might be a loser that stays at home all day, but I'm still in a red state, so I'm owned. But can I, when I get coronavirus, like, just phone up the president, hey, you said that the best care is available, right? So can I just stop on by the presidential suite, right? Can I just get my Sharpies and just, like, draw on the walls or whatever the fuck you were doing? I don't know. Somehow I think the answer would be no. But, so, we live in a country where socialism is a hot topic. People debate it almost every single day of their lives, especially with this election going on. So, that begs the question. Do Americans know what the fuck socialism is? Reminder, the right wing will always say, what do you want, Venezuela? Venezuela. God dang Venezuela. If you want kids to not starve, if you want a 16-year-old to be able to go to a doctor, that is the same thing as Venezuela. Right? That's what Republicans are saying, right? Now, again, that begs the question, do Americans know what the fuck they're talking about? Well, YouGov did a very helpful poll and actually decided and found out that no, Americans don't know what the fuck they're talking about. So, 3 in 10 Americans have a positive view of socialism. Do you have a favorable or unfavorable view of the following ideologies? Please select one option on each row. If you don't know what any of the terms mean, please select the not applicable option. Now, again, what's interesting here is, again, socialism and communism are essentially, they're the same thing. Now, you can say that maybe there's like a strategical kind of like position difference in those given the historical, like, kind of context of those labels, right? But the idea that communism has 10% and socialism has 31% when they're both the same ideology, that already is a giant red flag. That's already like, oh shit, I maybe shouldn't have taught all of these kids that Soviet Russia was evil. That's going to come up again, by the way, when you've got generations of people that were told that that the Soviet Union was going to nuke them at any point, right? Even 25 years after the dissolution of the Soviet Union, spoiler alert, they still think Russia is a socialist country. Yeah, that's right. It's an oil tycoon oligarchy. But no. They're socialist over there. That's right. But then you've got like social democracy, right? That's got 45%. 45%. What? Social democracy. And again, really, what's the difference between social democracy and socialism? Like, are people really having these fucking debates? Well, I believe that maybe we should have a mixed market economy, and that I believe that healthcare should be in the government's hands, but maybe things like botany should. Like, what? Like, who the fuck is having these conversations? Who is the person that says, like, yes, well, I prefer social democracy, but social. I don't know, man. Like, that seems like a Twitter thing to me. I don't know. And then capitalism at 55%. Given the fact that capitalism, right, and we're going to get into this later in today's show, right, the Pope came out against capitalism. The Pope, right, now I'm not even saying, like, this isn't a joke. This isn't like, haha, like, what, look it up, motherfucker. The Pope came out not even against capitalism, but like viciously against capitalism. The Pope wasn't fucking around. So when you've got a country that will say, like, God bless America, and only 55% of them support capitalism, the Pope coming out, what do you think they're going to do when they hear that the Pope says capitalism's no good and socialism's the way to go? I don't know. But either way, 31%, that's not bad. That's not bad, right? Now, again, let's look at the unfavorable numbers. 47% of people are unfavorable when it comes to socialism, but 40% are unfavorable when it comes to populism. Where's the 7% that goes, you know what? Is that like the Hills Rising viewer base? Like, is that what that is? The 7% that likes populism but not socialism? That sounds like it's right up the alley of Crystal Ball and Sagar and Jetty, personally. But let's go on. What healthcare systems do Americans think are socialist? Now, again, this isn't really like an approve, disapprove of things. Now, again, you have like only 40% of Americans say that they like socialism, right? Now, let's see, do they know what socialism is? This is where it gets a little tricky. A healthcare system that generally uses public sector doctors and hospitals where payment for treatment comes from a general taxation. Only 58% of U.S. adults think that that's socialism. Now, again, is that socialism? That sounds like maybe more like social democracy to me. Really, it depends on what we're defining as socialism, right? Like, the word socialism at this point really doesn't even have a definition. But if we're going to say that that's at least social democracy, 58% of U.S. adults, 69% of Republicans, good number by the way, think that that's socialist, and that that's bad? I don't know. I don't know what their analysis is here, but this doesn't really add on a layer of unfavorable or favorable at this moment. A healthcare system that generally uses private sector doctors and hospitals, where payment for treatment comes from a government-run insurance program that every citizen pays into. That's a little bit more socially democratic, less socialist for sure. But again, there's that weird gap. Like 58% of people think that the other one's socialist, and only 50% of think that this is socialist. But again, that's only half of Americans. Right? Another half would say that that's not socialist at all. And I don't think that they're going to be making the same analysis that I'm making. Like, oh, is that really socialist? I don't really know. It kind of, like, I don't think that they're making that analysis. I just think that they don't know what the word means. A healthcare system that generally uses private sector doctors and hospitals, where payment for treatment comes from non-profit insurance funds that legally have to cover everyone and are paid for jointly by employers and employees through payroll deductions. Only 26% think that that's socialist. Right? A healthcare system that generally uses private sector doctors and hospitals where payment for treatment comes from private or workplace insurance policies or from out-of-pocket expenses. 11 people think that that's socialist, and that's how we work in the United States of America. Now, who are the 11%? By the way, 10%? Now, this is what's really bizarre. 10% of Republicans think that that's socialist, but 13%? Of Democrats think that that's socialist? What the fuck? Are those the Joe Biden voters? Are those like when I was doing door knocking in South Carolina, right, for Democratic voters to like in the primary to get them to vote for Bernie? I got a bunch of people that were like, I grew up in Russia. I would never support Bernie. Right? Is that kind of person that thinks that the United States is already socialist and we need to elect Joe Biden to end? So, like, what the fuck? 13%? Are they doing that because they think that Obama was socialist and the socialism is good and Obama passed healthcare reform like 10 fucking years ago or something? Like, is that what the fuck they're doing? I don't know. That's a little embarrassing. But it doesn't stop there at the embarrassment, okay? What policies do Americans consider to be socialist? Utility companies like gas and electricity are run by the government. Again, That is pretty fucking socialist as far as I'm concerned. But again, you have like what? Not even 70% of Republicans who think that that's socialist. It should be 100%. Don't they hate socialism? Come on, man. But if they admit that this is socialist, they can't actually have their hatred of socialism intact. It's kind of like a weird cognitive dissonance thing. They have to choose one here. The government provides free childcare for all. Socialist. Most or all schools are run by the government. Socialist. This is an interesting one. The government completely or almost completely restricts the ownership of firearms. That's where you see a wide gap. Republicans are about 65% on that, right? And then 30% are Democrats. Now, that's not socialist. Socialists like guns. This is something I talk about frequently on my channel. Socialists actually like guns. We're pro-gun. So the idea that socialism is anti-gun, yes, that's only something a dumb fuck Republican could come up with. And I guess, 30% of Democrats, but whatever. They're pretty fucking stupid too. But yeah, so like you can read more of this yourself. Like you've got eyeballs, and what am I gonna fucking enunciate all of them? I know that this might be an audio podcast at some point, but like go fuck yourself. I'm so sorry. I know. Look it up. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be that rude, right? Just remember, look up the YouGov poll if you're listening to a future potential audio version of this show, which you're probably not, let's be honest. All right, gun control sounds much more like socialism to those who dislike socialism. Isn't that interesting, right? That's an interesting correlation, right? Really, really, really bizarre. Now, here's the thing. Which countries are socialist? Which countries are socialist? Now, again, the conservative right wing in this country thinks that like the Soviet Union and the Chi-Coms, they're gonna come and kill us all, and then they're gonna remove, I don't know, like movies from the movie theaters, even though there's a pandemic going on and we can't even go to the movies anyway. They're going to stop the production of video games, even though video games are basically just not even in production anyway because they're all fucking owned by corporatists, and all video games that are manufactured these days suck cock, right? But yeah, they're gonna come in. They're going to take away music, the Chi-Coms and the Soviet. Like, okay, so let's see. This is where we get to the very interesting stuff. Now, you only have about 35% of Democrats that think that China is socialist. Now again, socialist, communist, I guess they mean the same thing. I don't know. To Republicans, they mean the same thing. Because you got 58% of China that thinks the Republicans are socialist. And I'm guessing that some of the other percentage of that I can't do, 42%, think that they're not socialist, they're communist, and that's even worse. And that was counted as like a no vote or something. That's what I would guess there. But then we have Venezuela. 60% of Republicans think that they're socialist, and only like 34% of Democrats think that they're socialist. Isn't that weird? Isn't that really weird? Isn't propaganda one hell of a tool? And then you've got Russia, which again is an oil-based capitalist, like oil tycoon fucking oligarchy, right? An authoritarian hellhole where they're like, we'll fucking track down and murder transgender people just for literally just going outside if they want to, right? And you've got 50 fucking 8%, 57%, whatever, of Republicans that think they're socialist. Vladimir Putin is a communist. Like, what? What? They're literally like, they haven't updated their fucking textbooks in 30 years. Like, these people are out of touch, and it shows. It's bizarre. It's strange, right? Well, let's look all the way at the bottom, and you see a reversal of the Republican-Democrat shift. You have 11% of Democrats that think the USA is socialist. What the fuck? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Just because we had elected a black man and he did healthcare reform, that doesn't make us socialist. Hello? Like, how stupid are you, Democrats? Holy shit. But then you've got, 7% of Republicans that think that the USA is socialist. And those are the people that are like, the lying liberal left. They're gonna censor everything. The SJWs, they're trying to cancel you for wrong think. 1984. The deep state. We gotta drain, that's what that probably, small percentage is, right? But again, you just got these dumb fucks that don't know what socialism is, right? When you're at and let's go to the all U.S. adults thing. When you're just shy of 50% of people that think China is socialist, I don't know, man. That's actually kind of problematic when it comes to education. When 40% of U.S. adults think Russia is socialist, That's kind of problematic when it comes to education. What the hell is going on in this country? And again, this is the same country. You might be thinking old people are stuck up on textbooks from the Cold War era, right? But we got young people, and I covered this a couple weeks ago. Young people, 60-something% of young people don't know basic details about the Holocaust. So we got a fucking one hell of a problem. Fuck coronavirus. We got a pandemic of lack of education and disinformation campaigns in this country. Now, obviously, coronavirus is extremely serious. I don't want to make it seem like I'm being flippant about that. I know YouTube's a little bizarre lately, right? But like, this is the thing. Like, there's so much going on in this country, and the population is just so fucking stupid. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Like, it really is. Like, again, it's just like, it really just goes to show.
Dumb people, liberal people.
And that's really what I'm like. That's the essence of this. That's the essence. That's the essence.
So stupid. So stupid. Thank you. Thank you.
Woof. Goddamn. Holy shit.